Hi all. So a while ago on YouTube, I stumbled down a wormhole of small kitchen appliance reviews. As I was looking to buy an air fryer and perhaps maybe a pressure cooker, that's when I stumbled across one of the worst YouTube chefs of all time. His name is Jack Scalfani, as I like to call him, Jack Salmonella Scalfani. I watch video after video of him butcher, sometimes quite literally, recipes. Imagine driving slowly past a multi-car pileup on the interstate. That's my face as I watched him teach the internet how to make partially cooked meals of varying types and taking awful and unneeded shortcuts to recipes that are already quick to prepare. The absolute horror of Jack's lazy man chefing, air quote, techniques to my boyfriend Tom. And now, since we can't unsee it, we are opening your eyes to it as well. I'm Michelle, and I welcome you to join us for this horrific journey, better known as Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man. Welcome back to Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man.
Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man. Yep, folks, the hits just keep on coming. We're here with you with Jack's latest video, explosive coffee rub pork tenderloin. Jack claiming that the artistic whim has hit him and he has come up with this out of his own head. But of course we looked online and in 2015, a woman named Camilla has a cooking blog and basically posted this exact recipe. Jack lied. Published about 5 days ago, has about 3,000 views on it, so his viewer count on his videos are going down as he releases more and more videos at a clip.
I'm really confused. When you see the end result of this video, and I don't want to skip ahead here, why is this called explosive coffee rubbed pork tenderloin? Let's dissect this. What about this recipe is explosive? Is it what happens after you consume it? And not only that, but
are you making poop jokes?
Yes.
We here at PCTLM Industries hold ourselves to a higher standard than the dick and fart jokes.
If you look at the thumbnail of this video, before you even click on it, click into it, read the description, the thumbnail says, coffee, 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 in bold letters, all caps. And then the video, when you get into it, you notice the name being explosive coffee rubbed pork tenderloin. So obviously the coffee has something to do with the explosive part of it, which you don't really find out until he starts going through the ingredients.
Would you like to know why Jack calls it that?
No, I don't know.
Because Jack thinks he has the finger on the pulse, not only what cooking trends, but on internet trends as well. To wit, this idea of boutique coffee brands that have developed over the past 6 or 7 years. So somebody figured out a little ways back that the wholesale coffee trade was pretty much open to the public, that you could make a name for yourself because coffee is traded like a commodity. If we're all familiar with the Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd comedy vehicle from the mid-80s, Trading Places, they trade coffee like a commodity. You buy coffee by the container ship full, just as you do sugar, just as you do pork bellies, just as you do soybeans, just as you do frozen concentrated orange juice. That's actually a thing. Coffee is bought as a commodity. So you can buy a large amount of coffee, and there is different ways of buying it. Ethically sourced, fair trade, conflict coffees, I suppose there are out there as well. Coffee is a commodity, and people don't really care how they buy it, how they sell it. But somebody figured out that if you made a brand out of it and put a brand identity to it, if you made people care how they got their coffee, where they bought their coffee, why they bought their coffee, why is coffee? If you made people care why is coffee, you could increase the price. Like Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank. Why the sharks on Shark Tank never get into beverages because it's a commodity price. You'll always race to the bottom for price. If you flip that on your head and use internet marketing, growth hacking, and social media, you can make people pay $10 a bag for what is essentially a 50-cent a bag product. Coffee brands have, over the past half decade, got seen on the rise. So what you have to do is you have to have a branding philosophy for your coffee. It's not about the brown water that you put milk in and sugar and drink. It's about what does this coffee lifestyle, what does this brand say about my lifestyle? To wit, several of these coffee brands that have come out there have very specific lifestyles they target. The fitness lifestyle is targeted by called Caveman Coffee. That's sold by a fitness brand called On It. That's Joe Rogan's people. You have Bulletproof Coffee. That was originally sold by the ketogenic guys. All of the Black Rifle Coffee Company coffees are named after bullets and guns and ammunition and calibers of weapons and explosives. They have C4, they have AK-47 espresso, they have those things. What Jack has is a coffee called called Death Wish Coffee. Now, Death Wish Coffee brand is a little bit different. Death Wish Coffee's brand identity is more, I'm going to say Nordic, Viking, and their whole idea is Death Wish. So they go with skull imagery, Grim Reaper, that kind of a thing. But it's very easy to confuse that with the imagery used with Black Rifle Coffee. So Jack is confused, but Jack will not admit that he's confused.
I'm going to throw a flag here and a timeout because
Okie dokie.
Jack on several live chats and other occasions has blamed his strokes, his diabetes, his general unhealth for two reasons. One is the amount of caffeine he drinks. Two is the amount of sugar he consumes. If you look at this recipe, he's trying to be on this diet. He's trying to eat healthier.
Oh no, he's trying to undermine it. If you notice when we get to the end of this, and when he gets to the end of it and he starts talking to Tammy about like, why am I only allowed a small piece of meat? And then when you realize the end of this video takes you to the keto mousse video and that he's doing the keto chocolate mousse anyway.
Right, this is my theory. Like let's get into that. I think that Tammy is like hovering over him, like helicopter parenting over him, if you will, about his diet. Because if she's on this diet, he sure as hell is going to be on this diet too. And if he ain't following it, then she is going to pounce on him.
So what you have is two people in a deteriorating long-term relationship.
Yes.
They're on a downward slide.
Yes.
She is unhappy with a lot of his behaviors.
Obviously.
His mommy-wife syndrome, the fact that he's probably losing the ability to be the financial breadwinner. So what happens is she's looking for the areas of his life over which she can exert some control.
Yes.
One of them that she has glommed onto is the fact of his unhealthy eating and sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
So just like in our last episode, you noticed that, it's the beginning of the year. Jack has had lots of health problems. That is exactly why Tammy has picked out the wedge issue. She has driven her hammer and chisel into this exact point. Jack, you need to lose weight. You gotta have self-control. You gotta get better. You need to be around for our son. So she's hammering that in as a wedge issue, using that as an excuse to gain control over a person whom she quote-unquote loves, but has no ability to control his behaviors. So she's using this as like, I can't control what he says. I can't control how he acts in public, but god damn it, I will control what goes in his mouth. I will control what goes on his plate. So that's the true psychological underpinnings of what's going on here. Now Jack being the man-child, is refuting that, both consciously and subconsciously. So you see at these little glimmering moments that Jack refuses this stuff, you will see Jack will drop his fake, giggly man-child persona, and you will see the dark image emerge from underneath, where Jack goes deadly serious and says, I don't want to. I don't understand why I can't eat what I want to eat.
The interesting thing here is, if you watch Jack's live streams, unfortunately, like I do,
we're obsessed. It's okay.
Jack has long blamed his health problems on caffeine. And it's interesting now that he's picking Death Wish coffee of all things. Death Wish instant coffee in this video and the next video. Like, what is the motivation here? Why is he picking this?
No, you had a slightly more pedestrian idea of this that we discussed the last time. We haven't done a podcast on it yet, but the keto chocolate pudding where he uses the Death Wish coffee as well. That he's been restricted in his coffee intake.
He can't have them. Yeah.
He has to
like sneak it another way.
Yeah, he has to choose the highest amount of caffeination possible, which is Death Wish coffees. And that's their bag.
And this is how he hides it from Tammy. He's like, oh no, I'm making a dessert, honey. Oh no, I'm making a pork roll for everybody in the family.
Right.
Oh no, it's fine.
It's how someone who does not want to internalize the lifestyle change that they know they have to undermines it. And this is exactly how, what we discussed in the last video, in the keto pepper video, this is exactly how the undermining begins, that basically undermines the long-term success of any diet. Exactly what undermines lifestyle modification is you start bargaining, you start doing these little things. Well, if I can only have one, I'm going to make it hurt.
It's almost,
if I can only have one coffee, I'm going to make it the most potent coffee I can have.
Isn't there like 7 levels of grief?
No, there's 5 stages of grief.
5 stages, sorry.
This is between anger and bargaining.
So he's at that stage of grief in this diet. And there's a couple telling things.
There's 7 ingredients on the video.
There's a couple telling things things that I will point out to you as we go through this video. 2 specifically, but there's a lot wrong with this video. Let's be honest. There's a lot wrong with every Jack video.
Should we get into the video?
But there's 2 specific points that I'm going to point out to you as viewers. Yes, we're going to get into the video, but I wanted to point out that you should really pay attention in this one because you'll learn a lot about Jack.
All right, folks. Synchronize your YouTubelators. We are going to hit play in 5,
4,
3, 2,
and 1.
All right, we are in the Scalfani kitchen. It is overlit. The camera is oddly balanced for once. You just figured out the tripod legs.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's fancy. Look at the countertop. Left to right, horizon's okay.
So he talks about having 1 pork loin, but there's clearly 2 in the package.
Yeah.
That's important. That comes into play later on. We have olive oil, balsamic vinegar, which looks like it's in a wine bottle, salt, pepper, cumin, smoked paprika, which he makes an entire deal out of, and the Swerve brown sugar, and the Death Wish instant coffee that he makes huge deal out of.
And the 5 cloves of the most alien-looking garlic you've ever seen.
It's yellow.
Folks, the Pink Chicken and I watch a lot of YouTube as well as just regular broadcast cooking shows. We're Food Network. We watch infomercials about cooking products. We watch a lot of Food Network. We watch a lot of food
We
programming.
also buy garlic, and we know what it looks like.
Cooking for a long time, folks. I've never seen garlic that looks like that. My only theory on this is that he freezes garlic and thaws it out in the microwave.
Well, he told us he was freezing it like earlier in the year.
Yeah, a couple months back. I forget which video that was.
But like, I don't know about him putting it in a microwave, but I'm not ruling anything out, honestly.
I think that's the only way you get that skin like that, because garlic is very thin skin on it. And it's the only way you bubble
even
it
if you let garlic go where it's starting to sprout, it does not look like that. It does not look that yellow.
Colors.
It's not healthy looking.
I don't know. I can't imagine anybody would freeze and thaw garlic. That's just not.
It's not a thing. No. Okay, so we're putting the weirdly
looks like used bubble gum.
Fucking colored garlic into the pork now.
So
and yes,
MommyWife Tammy has to come use the sharp object.
MommyWife Tammy, okay, I'm gonna dissect this because it really bothers me. MommyWife Tammy has 3 rings on her fingers. She has a ring finger on her right hand and then 2 on her ring finger and her pinky finger on her left hand. She does not remove them for cutting into this pork, which...
Well, it's not like pork contains all sorts of microorganisms that have been found to be harmful to humankind.
Oh, wait. But Jack never removes his ring either.
Jack's telling her to jam the garlic in the cracks.
So she's cutting like 4 slits into each pork loin, I guess?
Yep. In the regular recipes for doing a rub, because that's what this is supposed to be, when you rub a roast, be it a pork loin, be it a beef roast, be it ribs, to do a dry rub, you're supposed to do exactly that. You mix up your dry ingredients and you rub it on the meat. Jack has a better idea. It's a wrong idea, but it's Jack's idea.
Right, and this is where I say, like, if you listen to 2 specific areas of this video, you will understand everything that goes wrong about it. And not only that, but...
When Jack says, "Hi, I'm going to attempt to cook a pork loin"?
Well, from the beginning, yes.
Oh, there goes that log of brown sugar substitute.
And you can't it's not a 1-for-1 ratio either. It's for every 1 tablespoon of regular brown sugar, you use whatever amount.
Curiously, he uses instant coffee. That Death Wish coffee that you use here is instant coffee. You're supposed to be using coffee grounds, like what you use in an automatic drip coffee maker for the grounds.
Not freeze-dried shit.
We're not supposed to be using instant, because instant coffee is just...
freeze-dried.
It's coffee that's already been made into liquid coffee and then frozen into crystals.
Right.
It will turn back into a liquid, which I guess is his plan here, or he just doesn't understand the difference between coffee grounds and instant coffee.
No. If you pause the video here, because I'm going to get into a whole tirade, this is not the first time Jack has rubbed pork or a pork product.
He's a serial meat rubber?
He's a serial meat rubber.
Mm-hmm. A rubber of meat.
A rubber of meat.
There's nothing better to do on a weekend than massage his meat.
Stop it! Oh my god. I've been doing some other research unrelated to this video about Jack.
Research? Me too. I think we're at that point of our relationship where I could admit the meat massage research.
I'm buried. Help me. So we've been doing some research about our March brackets of sadness, and I picked one that was the New Wave pulled pork sandwiches. They were raw. I mean, which you probably already figured out anyway,
Right.
because everything that Jack makes with
Raw
pork
pork never hurt anyone.
is he actually rubbed that pork in Javalia coffee. I don't know if it was instant, but it was ground. It wasn't the beans. It was ground Javalia coffee, and he put it in the New Wave and tried to make an enormous pork butt. It's probably 5 pounds, maybe, if not more. It was a big one. It was not cooked all the way through, but it didn't look as bad as this does.
And obviously the reason Jack doesn't have ground coffee is because if you notice, he's had a Keurig coffee maker forever.
Exactly.
So he has K-cups, and he has a little K-cup. He probably has the one where you can brew your own coffee, but he doesn't want to because that's lazy. So he just buys the K-cups. So he either doesn't understand or doesn't want to, like...
Or he has the flavored ones.
You can cut a K-cup open and pour the coffee out and use that coffee. There's
but he probably has the pussy-ass flavored...
Oh, he uses all flavored coffee. And they have the sugar-free coffee syrup pumps. They buy the coffee syrup pumps, the flavored pumps on the counter there that we've always made notice of.
Yeah.
So they're buying flavored coffees and they're using coffee. Yeah, so they have no coffee-flavored coffee. It's all sugar, Irish cream, French vanilla, whatever.
Vanilla, yeah.
So he has no regular coffee in his house, and that's why he has to buy this stuff, and he's buying these instant packets because they probably don't even have a coffee, or they probably don't even have a regular drip coffee maker.
They're not good for him. I mean, if he really believes that all of his strokes were based on
sugar and caffeine,
like why would you do this knowing that it's double the amount of caffeine that you should have in any one serving? Like what even are you doing?
If you've had this conversation with your doctor and or nutritionist and said, I really think the sugar is bad for me, the very first thing the doctor and or nutritionist is going to tell you is, if you think regular table sugar is bad for you, you should see what those sugar substitute chemicals are doing to you. NutraSweet was drilling holes in people's brains for a while. Saccharin was causing liver and kidney cancer. If you have to wean yourself off of the sugar, use those substitutes only to step yourself off of it. But really, you should be trying to get yourself off sugar entirely. The human body doesn't need it. The human body does very well without it. Get your sources of natural sugars, get it from fruits, from pectin, from things like that. You don't need it. And the more you have of it, it acts like cocaine on the brain. The more you have it, the more you want it. So the more sweets you eat, the more sweets you want. Rats or mice they were feeding table sugar to. And they basically took 2 control groups and they fed mice table sugar and they gave them access to cocaine. And the rats with table sugar wanted the table sugar more than the rats with cocaine wanted the cocaine. So table sugar is more addictive, pound for pound, literally, than cocaine is addictive. Yet, you get caught with a vial of cocaine in your pocket, you're going to jail for a while. You get caught with a vial of table sugar in your pocket and the cop just wants to know where the nearest donut shop is. Where'd you get that at? Ha, wah. Hey, cab jokes, why not? But back to Jack here. So he's doing 2 things wrong here. Number 1, he's mixing the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. So he's not doing a dry rub, he's doing a paste rub.
And he points this out at about, start the video again, I'm sorry. We stopped it at about 4:48.
And we tangented. So
he's mixing all of the ingredients together.
Play-Doh.
The dry and the wet. The look of it is basically sludge.
He's made a black sludgy substance.
It looks like something you'd clean out of a septic tank.
I don't want to get into obscure sci-fi references, but the last time I saw something that black and sludgy, it killed Tasha Yar. Let the audience figure that one out.
Over my head. Anyway.
It released the Red Letter Media's season 1 review. That's TNG. We'll figure it out. Skin of evil. Anyway.
He ends up paintbrushing the tar-like substance on both of the pork loins. He was supposed to oil down.
Well, essentially, you're supposed to do the dry rub, and then once you coat the meat in the dry rub, then you're supposed to pour a little olive oil. And this recipe specifically called for an espresso balsamic vinegar to pour over top of it to really enhance the coffee flavor of the dry rub. But that was basically just to help the meat brown a little bit. It wasn't meant to create this paste that he's come up with here.
Yeah, it looks like sewer sludge.
And he doesn't even call it a lazy man recipe with this. This is just his thinking at this point. This is him knowing better than the recipe he's using.
So we got 2 turds on the pan. It looks like it's going in the oven based on how he has it dressed. He has them on an upper rack and then there's like a catch rack with aluminum foil underneath. So I'm assuming this is going into an oven. I don't know the temperature. I don't know if he says it, but he's not smoking cooking it. He's not grilling it, which
No,
is
just baking
unusual for him because that's usually what he does. I think he's just baking it in the oven or maybe perhaps broiling it. And it comes out looking absolutely like a turd. A burned turd.
Well, the front one kind of looks like a little snout on the front of it, so it looks like a tiny roasted pig, like a little roasted suckling pig.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but I just make it sad.
Yes.
Oh.
It looks burned to a crisp on the
Technically,
top.
it looks like an armadillo because of the little slits with the garlic sticking out the back of it. It's like roadkill. He's cooked roadkill.
Oh, well, he's done that so many times.
So now the cooking portion of this is over. Now he's got to let it rest.
There's no resting it when it's that burned.
Yeah, it's beyond recognition, but
yeah.
I don't actually think it's that burnt. It's just he decided to make.
Is it the sugar that maybe like
skin of evil, black, oily, slick paste out of it? But there's not that much sugar in it, and again, it's not real sugar. It's just that.
So now he's having Tammy cut into it, and this is another key part of the episode
where Jack can't control himself.
He talks.
His meat-rection is huge at this point.
Meat-rection.
Cut me a big piece, Tammy, and she cuts him the tiniest little sliver, and he can't.
It's not even a full piece, guys.
No.
It's not even a full piece. He comes back and he's like, "I'm not allowed to have any meat on this diet. I don't know why I'm not allowed to."
He's giving the camera the most painful smile. He's giving that camera like, I can't have it.
I don't know why I can't have any meat, guys. I'm on this diet. I don't know why. Why am I not allowed meat?
Eating program.
I don't know why. Have you watched any of your videos, Jack? Have you looked at them closely? Because you eat too much fucking meat.
No, watch this. Jack, look down. Can you see your feet? No. Okay, that's why.
Can you see your penis?
Right,
no.
Right. When's the last time you look down and were able to see your dick?
Oh my god.
When that happens, you gotta have meat again. Until then, just keep drinking the shakes and eating the protein bars. Well, this is a very meat-themed episode, so being able to see his own meat is it adds to the theme.
Okay, so time out. We know that Jack Jr. is moving out of the house, right? Moved. So do we think this video is before that happened or after that happened? Okay, so do you think they made the 2 pork loins knowing that the kids were still in the house? Is that where we're going with this? Because why if Jack can't be having any meat at all, except for that tiny little piece, would they be making these 2 big fucking huge pork loins?
Jack was only allowed to have a little piece now because he's gonna have, like, they'll probably consume one of those pork loins, maybe not a full one.
Between Tammy and Jack, or the 4 of them?
Well, between Tammy and Jack, but I think most of these are gonna be. I think the pork loins are gonna go either into the freezer, so when Jack loses his 80 pounds, he'll get to have some, or they'll make church chili out of it, 2 years from now when they need it. Or
wow. That's bringing it back. Okay.
Yeah. Well, March Sadness. Or this will go with Jack Jr. Like, I think now most of this is going to be food that goes with Jack Jr.'s house.
Oh my
God.
God.
He'll promptly throw out, but, he'll be like, Dad, oh no, Dad, the coffee rub, the explosive coffee rub pork loin was delicious. And, meanwhile,
his wife's like, we ain't fucking eating this shit.
We see the videos. We see how he makes it. He's not even following the recipes.
So it's an interesting conversation point. I mean, this is at the point where they may have moved out and they may have not moved out. It depends on his recording schedule. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires in the next couple of weeks. In terms of recording schedule,
I think this is my theory. This is where we get into the intra-episode theories. I think this episode was recorded before Keto Mousse episode was recorded.
Obviously.
Going into Keto Chocolate Mousse episode, again, he's using the Death Wish coffee, so he already has that handy.
Right.
So, these 2 videos were made around the same time, but there is something off. Like, Jack is angry when you go into Keto Chocolate Mousse episode. Now, you'll notice he's wearing the same gold beanie and the same blue shirt.
Yeah, he's wearing the same clothes.
The stains on the shirt are in the same place. The knuckles are in the same scrape. The knuckle scrapes are in the same position. Also, when he goes into that keto, now he should be happy because he's going to have dessert. He's going to get to eat a chocolate pudding that he doesn't get to eat often anymore. He should be happy, but when the Chocolate Mousse episode starts up, he's like, hey guys, where have you been? I've been here waiting for you. He's angry at the front of that video like he hasn't been in a while. I think it's because he has just been denied a bigger hunk of coffee pork.
That's a theory.
Was recorded. I think she cleared all of this out of the way.
She's like, no, you're not having any of this. this. We're taking this to the homeless shelter or whatever.
She's like, I got a little nub of pork, and now I gotta get a little tiny thing of chocolate mousse.
His serving of that, if you watch to the end. I don't think we're doing that. We're not gonna do that video because we don't usually do desserts, but his serving for the mousse, the mousse that he got was literally a tablespoon.
Were you using the general cup?
What?
Using the mousse cup.
Wow. We're here now. Anyway, I think that's it for this one. I would say, like, read between the lines with this episode. There's more going on with Jack's diet
as I had quietly
than
hoped,
meets the eye.
This is beginning to fray.
Yes.
The relationship between Jack and MommyWife Tammy.
Yes.
I think it's going to get more and more delicious as the temperature rises outside, as the snow melts and the ice thaws, and the temperature in Tennessee goes
continues.
Up. Yes.
It's going to reach a boiling point.
Yes.
And Junior and Tammy Jr. are out of the house now. There's no no
break point.
There's no oh my god, I need to vent to you.
Right.
No, they're out of the house. They don't want any fucking thing to do with them anymore.
You know, at some point, MommyWife Tammy's going to go over and Jack Jr. is going to be like, look, you got to go deal with him. Like, look, I moved out. You're going to have to make your choice.
And she's going to be like, can I sleep on your couch? And he's going to be like, fuck no.
Yeah, you have to go back.
So there's some interesting episodes coming up on the horizon. We have some ideas that we're tossing around, thank you for joining us for this episode, which is probably now like an hour and a half long.
I don't know.
We lost count.
Yeah, the tape stopped about a half hour ago. We've just been talking into an empty microphone.
Yep.
Join us again next time, folks, for
Pink Chicken and the Lazy Man.